Good morning, everyone. My name is Lance Olive. I'm the mayor of Apex, and I've been invited to update you on the state of the town. This is my second address to you all, and I couldn't be happier standing here today. I'd like to extend a heartfelt thanks to the Apex Chamber of Commerce for inviting me to do this. I'd like to welcome all the board members and the staff this morning. Thank you very much for caring about the town. I'd also like to acknowledge our local officials, as Shannon has already pointed out, who each represent us in our form of government that we are privileged to experience here in America. And thank you for coming out today. To our town manager, his immediate staff that helped put this together, and all the town employees, on behalf of the citizens of Apex, whom you all serve, I offer my deepest gratitude. You keep us safe. You keep us powered and clean and healthy by providing the best of living conditions for us. Thank you. To my loving and supportive wife, my best friend, sent by God to keep my feet firmly on the ground and yet also keep my chin held high. Thank you, Cheryl. Citizens of Apex and visitors to the peak of good living, you are welcome here today. The year 2015 started out innocently enough. There we go. Our population had bloomed to 44,000. We were a safe town. We had good parks, a thriving downtown, a strong financial footing, and we were minding our own business and we were loving life. North Carolina employment was on the rise as most of my laid-off neighbors were finding work once again. The state's economy was waking up. Developers and investors found their sideline cash and began checking out farmland in the ETJ area of Apex, where there were still some unimproved green fields. Builders emerged from hibernation. They dusted off their hard hats and steel-toed boots and began sharpening their stubby pencils. But we didn't notice so much because life was good, and it was a local election year. Then the most wonderful, awful thing happened. Money Magazine bestowed upon Apex their top honor for a municipality, the #1 position on their best places to live in America list. We quickly made new welcome signs for the roads that were leading here from Holly Springs, from Cary, Durham, Raleigh, and Sanford. Because, and by the way, because we're thrifty, we simply made #1 stickers and put them on the number 9 that was up there already from 2013. We made plastic cups and foam fingers. Did you get one? We held a big celebration on the town campus. We were flying high. But then reality set in. Hundreds of acres of land in the ETJ were quickly put under contract and plans were drawn. Meanwhile, people of all ages across this country were looking for something new, something better. They pulled out their Money Magazine and it showed them their El Dorado. And it was called Apex, North Carolina. What's not to love? 4 seasons, plenty of jobs, convenient universities, quality of life, safety, low taxes, great family amenities. Well, every apartment building filled up within 6 months. Homes were put up for rent. Homes went up for sale. Bidding wars started, and many of them went under contract in 1 and 2 days. Many of you probably have a neighbor that has a story like that, or had a neighbor perhaps. House prices jumped 15%. And many of us were caught off guard, still feeling the housing woes of 2009. And there I was, asking everyone to allow me to be the mayor of all this. Was I nuts? Am I nuts? Well, I won. I asked for this. So what's a new mayor to do in 2016? in the afterglow of being named the best? How does one become the new head coach of last year's Super Bowl championship team? Is it even possible to improve on a number one ranking? I thought about this long and hard. Can I find objective ways to lead the town of Apex to being even better than we've been told we are? Can I be intentional about defining and sharing a vision with the town council and the town manager and the staff? Can I remain engaged with the citizens of Apex so they have a restored sense of faith in their leaders, a stronger sense of pride in their town, and a greater sense of purpose in being part of a growing community? It seems perhaps an impossible mission. This mission is a mountain with 5 peaks. To fully understand them, I had to remind myself it's not about me. First, we need to remember that the citizens are the collective boss. We as elected officials represent them, and they expect us to govern better. Second, while we are already a safe town, we should make sure we stay that way by working to make our town even safer. Third, while we're already financially strong, there are opportunities to make us even stronger. Fourth, we need to do what's necessary to provide citizens with an even better quality of life than that which we already enjoy. And fifth, we need to reconnect with who we are and learn to truly love our town and love our neighbors. Here is what we did in 2016. First, we fostered honest conversations by setting the tone for understanding that we, the council members, each come to the table with differing passions, differing interests, and differing backgrounds. We can relearn what it means to discuss issues openly and have honest conversations. We can be objective in our identification of our problems, our analysis of the options, and our selection of the solution. This is what enables us to disagree in an agreeable manner and solve real problems. When we do this, we find that we have more in common than we may have presupposed. And we forget our party labels and we work together as a truly functional team. We eliminated the rancor. I opened up applications for all citizen advisory boards and panels, so it's no longer who you know that counts, but how much you care and how much you're willing to commit towards working for your community. I reorganized the committees and liaisons to eliminate the non-functional, to plug the gaps, and to put diversity of thought on each committee. Being leaderly sometimes means breaking the old way of doing things so you can rebuild new. We met last February to establish priorities of the council body. We placed 45 items on the wall, and we used stickers and stars to cast votes for those items. These priorities are what remind our council and our staff of the things that we have deemed important. And next week, by the way, it'll be time for us to do this again for the year 2017. Monthly, the town manager, the town attorney, and I made adjustments to the agenda, the process, and the structure to make our meetings crisp, participatory, and most of all, free from parliamentary neglect and abuse. And lastly, since this is government of the people, by the people, and for the people, I communicated with the people. I participated on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Nextdoor. My sister even got me into Pinterest. And, well, that reminds me there's a buffalo chicken jalapeno dip recipe I want to try later, Cheryl. The point is, I engaged. And I went to our staff and I double dog dared Town Hall to out-communicate me. Because the citizens deserve to know what's going on. Number 2, how are we making us even safer? We're investing in public safety. We increased the portion of our current budget for fire, police, and emergency medical services to over 41% of our operating budget by adding $1.8 million to those major line items. We're reducing crime even further, as evidenced by the UCR Part 1 crime statistics for Apex. Now, I don't expect everybody to understand what that means. There might be 3 or 4 people in here who do. But basically, these offenses comprised of the most serious violent and property index crime statistic categories went down 3% in 2016. And Part 2 crimes are down 14%. Here's another one. How many of you know that we have a safe zone for completing transactions arranged online? If you don't want someone to come to your house to buy that thing off of Craigslist, or you don't want to meet them at a gas station, parking lot, meet them at the police station under the Safe Transaction Zone sign. We're looking ahead as our population grows 5% per year by opening public safety station number 5 this spring, and we're planning to construct number 6 in 2021. The intentional efforts of the town manager and the public safety chiefs are making Apex a safer place. You are now even safer than you were 1 year ago. Number 3, let's make this town financially stronger. Let's keep debt under control by making sure it's not a major part of our budget. This year, it's a mere 7.2% of our operating budget. This is better than my own personal budget if you include my mortgage. And many of us probably would say the same thing. When we exercise fiscal discipline, we're rewarded with great ratings. When you receive a clean analysis in your town's comprehensive annual financial report, also known as the CAFR, you're rewarded with a certificate of achievement for excellence. We have received more of these consecutive awards than the Apex Nature Park has disc golf baskets. And that includes the practice holes. Fiscal discipline is how you get a AAA bond rating from Standard & Poor's and a AA1 from Moody's. Incidentally, I'll be going to Moody's this year, perhaps with either the town manager or the finance director or both, to see if we can't get that AA1 bumped up to a AAA based on our recent good data. We want to do that so that we can fund the Transportation General Obligation Bond that'll build the Apex Peakway Bridge over CSX and South Salem Street, which will be the next to the last step, or maybe the penultimate step, for getting a functional 360-degree peakway. Do we have the vision to make this better going forward? When we budget, we plan pessimistically, and when we execute, we spend conservatively. From this year forward, we will tie back expenses to our priorities. And lastly, in order to have a strong local economy, we'll plan for commerce, productivity, and economic growth to be a large contributor, giving citizens more local options for employment. Taking the 2030 land use map as the foundation and making adjustments for 2035 Apex, which, by the way, is only 18 years from now. We have held 16 planning committee meetings in the last, 14 months, so that's more than 1 per month on average, in order to find ways to refine our future plans to reserve major intersections for commerce and employment, balancing these uses against the surging residential growth. Number 4, let's provide citizens with an even better quality of life. We continue to have a 3-pronged approach to parks: acquiring land, upfitting with fields and facilities, and maintaining them. The latest is the acquisition of the roughly 90 acres that we've dubbed Pleasant Park, due to its location near the historic Pleasant Plains community, southwest of town. Pleasant Park Phase 1 will commence in 2019, pending a successful bond referendum. Improving recreation by programming more sports and classes is another way of improving the quality of life of citizens. This year we began properly planning the senior center and expect to construct it for a 2019 opening, also pending a successful bond referendum. We'll continue to enhance the culture of Apex by supporting the Halley-based arts and performances as well as the events in downtown. This is why you saw the furniture behind the screen here. There is a play this weekend. Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon. This year we improved the application process for holding events in Apex to promote fairness. No longer do you need to know who the right person is to call, hope you called at the right time, or ask approval whenever the council happens to be in a good mood. Everyone follows the same process now for the annual calendar of events, and they are reviewed for approval once at the beginning of each year. By the way, the council just approved 17 events for 2017, including 3 races, 5 that are related to holidays, and 5 with the name Fest somewhere in there. Fest or Festival. We continue to improve the walkability by holding high standards for pedestrian connectivity during new development and spending on filling gaps in the sidewalk where only short segments have previously been installed. Additionally, this spring we're constructing a safe route to Apex Friendship School campus along Evans Road. And we've guaranteed that citizens will continue to see treetops as they walk through their town, which is now certified by Tree City USA. Thank you, Kate. Last and perhaps best of all, we are improving the road infrastructure by targeting a long list of projects to make everyone's travels just a bit more smooth. Turn signals were installed on the Peakway and Old Raleigh Road. $250,000 were spent adding turn lanes at Kelly Road and Olive Chapel intersection. Now you can turn left or right or go straight. 1 light cycle is what I'm hearing now instead of 4 or 5. And we have a long list of transportation improvements that will keep us busy for several years to come as we can continue to budget for them. Number 5, I want us to all love our town and our neighbors more. Nonprofit organizations aid our community. A dozen churches, Rotary, Kiwanis, Lions, VFW, CAPS, Kappa, Western Wake Crisis Ministry, and many others benefit our community by helping others in need. Also, when you shop local, you support your local economy. Our downtown is thriving, but it wasn't always that way. A few of us in here remember 25 years ago, there wasn't much happening. There was a lot of boarded up places. But now that it is thriving, let's find those businesses that improve our quality of life. Let's spend our hard-earned dollars with them. And the same goes for all these entrepreneurs who are brave enough to put a large part of their life on hold, Heather, and most of their savings, and hang a shingle and offer services and products that are unique and valuable. Without your support of them, our town could once again fall into commercial doldrums. 2016 was a very plain year for our 3 water tanks. They were standing tall with nothing to say for themselves. Meanwhile, the council labored to find just the right logo for this new era of Apex. And some might argue that that's not an important thing. But I can't stand there and look at it without thinking that was worth it. Have you seen those tanks lately? They make me proud of my town. I hope they do for you too. Next, I say this with all sincerity as someone who remembers Apex when it only had 3,000 residents. Half of my first grade classmates were African American. And you know, I didn't really know or care. And I hadn't met anyone with any kind of accent, northern or foreign or otherwise. Apex today has 48,400 residents and has become a melting pot of people from many places. So respectfully, I say to everyone here, melt. Melt with your community. Or perhaps a better analogy would be gumbo, because it's a mixture where the elements are still recognizable, but yet they're part of a bigger whole. But gumbo isn't gumbo if you don't stir it. So why do you spend so much time indoors, in your homes, alone? How is it we live so close together and yet we're so far apart sometimes? I say get out of your house. Engage with your community. Melt. Become gumbo. And be proud of who we are collectively. After all, are we not peak proud? We are Apex. We are the peak of good living. So the mission, it seems, is indeed possible. Govern better, make us even safer, make us even stronger, provide citizens with even better quality of life, and love our town and our neighbors. And finally, the question I posed at the beginning, what's a new mayor to do with a town that is the best place to live in America? I plan to be objective. I plan to be leaderly. I plan to be intentional. I plan to be visionary. And I plan to be engaged. And really, I just want to be myself so that we can be us. Thank you.